Welcome to episode number 31 of the Piscopod. I am your host, Asha. Thanks for tuning in. This episode has been brought to you by 1868 Entertainment, and we are recording in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains at Sin City Sound Recording Studios. Welcome to the show. I might as well start off. Team Canada has lost. Not surprising. Anything that Carney endorses or touches turns to shit. So I feel bad for those guys. Yeah, tough game. And unfortunately, again, anything that Carney touches turns to shit. So they lost. But jumping right into it, I don't know if you guys have been living in a cave or whatever, but a couple weeks ago there was footage released that looked like Jeffrey Epstein living large, looks a bit furrier, longer hair, full beard, AI facial recognition for the most part says that it's him, to an I think it was like a 92 or a 93% accuracy, which is a pretty strong indication that it's him. This week, there was footage released of Ghislaine Maxwell strolling through the streets of Quebec here in Canada with her brother. Again, facial recognition puts her at a 98%. If you watch the deposition from prison, the reports have been that there's no way that lady that was in the prison scrubs was Ghislaine Maxwell. Facial recognition didn't think it was her. Anybody with eyeballs that worked didn't think it was her. Different nose, different facial structure, different bone structure. Good wig, though. But they had, they wanted us all to believe that... that's prison doing that to her. But lo and behold, somebody strolling through the streets of Quebec. You got to watch it online because it's pretty telling, because the guy walks up and says Ghislaine, and she looks right at him, and then, oh no, that's not me, kind of thing, right? And if you think about it logically, if you're strolling with whatever, your brother or your friend or whatever, and basically window shopping, and I'm just thinking from a personal point of view. If I'm window shopping with my wife or whatever, and somebody comes up, I'm not looking at him or paying no attention to him or whatever, and someone comes up and calls me Bob or Stan or Jerry or whatever the case is, I'm not automatically going to look over at him, So it was an odd interaction, to say the least. And because he said, oh, Ghislaine, and she looked right at him, and then it seemed to me like she kind of caught herself going, oh, shit, I've been outed. So... I mean, I don't know where your head is at with all this. I thought right from the get-go that Jeffrey Epstein, the circumstances surrounding his unaliving in prison are fishy, to say the least. The cameras weren't working. All the guards miraculously fell asleep. Then they released the footage, and the footage is scrubbed for 10 minutes between a certain time frame. It's just weird. Everything that we're learning about this, about the files, about his suicide in prison, about his background, is just weird. And now, for icing on the cake, we have this Ghislaine Maxwell thing where she was spotted in Canada walking freely. And I urge all of my listeners to check out the video, because my wife and I, we both watched it on numerous occasions, and we were like, that is completely her. Her hair is grayer. She has a beanie on, but she has the same wonky eye. She has the same slant of the eyebrows. Her teeth spacing is exactly the same. Her nose is exactly the same from literally hundreds of pictures that have been taken of her in the past. So, what's going on, folks? What is going on? I'm starting to think that this is a psyop that they're conducting on us to, to kind of see how far they can push it before we go into full-blown revolt. And I fear we're getting close because it's getting crazier and crazier and crazier by the minute. If you've had the privilege of watching the Tucker Carlson Mike Huckabee interview, 2.5 hours. I have to apologize to my wife because we both watched it, and I mean, through the entire thing, I was screaming obscenities towards my television set because it was just so infuriating to watch this guy slither and weasel his way out of any of the tough questions regarding pretty much anything regarding the Israeli role in geopolitical events, the Israeli role in American politics. They ended up detaining Tucker Carlson and his team. Just the monologue alone for the interview was mind-blowing, where he wanted to give his flight details and the tail number of the plane. Understandably so, right? Because he clearly has a target on him. Him and Candace Owens both clearly have targets on them. And they just didn't want any of the information. And then they kind of pawned him off to an agent who just days prior was calling Tucker Carlson like an existential threat to Israel. And she was going to be the one for his safe passage from the airport to the embassy for the interview. Anyway, long story short, if you haven't seen the interview, he ended up doing it at the airport in some diplomatic VIP area. He did this 2.5-hour interview, and I mean, it was mind-blowing. It was mind-blowing, the things that were coming out of his mouth. And for all of my American friends, if at this point, if you still don't think that the state of Israel has a stranglehold on American politics and on the government and on your representatives that apparently represent you, I don't know what more proof that could be offered other than that interview. It was mind-blowing. I mean, he was all for, of course, he discounted any sort of genocide that's going on there, touting Israel as one of the most moral military forces on the planet, even throwing his own military force under the bus, for lack of a better word, and he's the American ambassador in Israel. He's clearly a self-admitted Zionist, and, when asked the tough questions regarding what the state of Israel has been doing to the Palestinians, basically said, yep, no, he's completely okay with it. When Tucker asked him, you're okay with, children and stuff getting killed, and he's like, yep, many of those children, they were Hamas fighters, and, with no verifiable proof of that being true, number one. When asked about the Epstein links to the Mossad and Israel, he was quick to say that he hasn't really been following that all that much. But when Tucker pointed out some glaring revelations in reference to Epstein working for the Israelis, for a guy that really wasn't following that much, he sure was quick to correct the narrative. Um, it was a really, really weird interview. 2.5 hours of, like I said, I was just flinging expletives at the TV screen because, I mean, these people think that we're all fucking stupid. And I think what's scaring them, uh, desperately frightening them, is the fact that through social media and the ability to share information in real time, it's clear to them that we're waking up. We're waking up to what's going on. I mean, the drone footage of Gaza alone is just mind blowing. Like, there isn't a building that's left standing. And their excuse is it's not a genocide, but Hamas was, using human shields. And I don't discount that. I mean, we have proof and footage of that actually happening. But when you look at the devastation in Gaza, I mean, they certainly must have been hiding in a lot of buildings and schools and hospitals, and it just does not make sense. And the world is waking up to it. And the Zionists, the biggest pushback is actually not really from the Jewish people per se, but from like American Zionists. That's really where the pushback and the abrasiveness of the whole situation occurs. Because by all accounts, there's a lot of Jewish people that think that Netanyahu should be in prison, and I mean, he has warrants out for crimes against humanity. I believe in 126 countries, and when you kind of try to correlate the things that are going on in the world, I mean, the justification for going into Venezuela and removing Maduro was for, basically roughly the same things, like, crimes against his people, and he had international warrants out. And that was enough for the military to go in there and forcefully remove him and bring him to trial in the United States of America. But then you have like Benjamin Netanyahu, who has international warrants in 126 countries, and he's hosted at the White House. He goes to galas at Trump's Mar-a-Lago. And the money going to the Trump campaign and stuff from these Zionists just keeps flowing. I believe the last count is $250 or $260 million from Miriam Adelson. And I mean, the APAC, if you ever log in and go to the APAC tracker to see, especially for my American friends, if you want to see who your state and local representatives are being paid by, just go onto the APAC tracker. It's quite amazing to see exactly how many people take Jewish lobby money in order to win elections. 98.2% of the senators and the elected officials in the Senate on both sides. It's not just the Democrats or the Republicans. It's on both sides that are towing the line for Israel first. It was eye-opening and frightening all at the same time. And of course, you know, with the videos coming out of IDF soldiers that are basically target practicing on school children playing soccer in Gaza and then celebrating it. Um, it's just dark and depraved in what is going on and what we're allowing. And again, I think that even with the release of the Epstein files, again, I think it's like this some sort of a psyop that's going on because they're going to see, like with all this shit that's going on, are these people still going to go out and work every day? Are they still going to pay taxes all the time? Are they going to toe the line as far as the laws and legislations that we put in place? Basically, they're seeing how far that they can push it. We're basically giving them permission is what's happening, because out of the 3 million documented files of evidence that have been released so far, indications say that it's really only 2% of what they have in their possession. So 3 million documented files, which is 2% of what they have in their possession, over 2,000 horrendous videos depicting rape, cannibalism, trafficking, terrorizing, torturing, and murdering, underage children. And as of yet, not a single fucking person has seen the inside of even an interrogation room, much less a jail cell. If you caught the Les Wexner deposition that they released, again, why would they release something like that? In order to test the waters to see how far they can push us before we snap. This guy for 3 or 4 hours was getting deposed and knew nothing about. He wasn't friends with Jeffrey Epstein. He said on numerous occasions he didn't know. He didn't know the extent of what Jeffrey Epstein was doing. And it's all bullshit. I mean, this guy literally turned his entire family fortune over to this Jeffrey Epstein for control. And his alibi was he was just like a next level con man, and I feel terrible that that I was conned, and out of over $100 million. By all indications, Jeffrey Epstein was playing the billionaire on the back of the resources of Leslie Wexner. And they're trying to make us all believe that this little Jew that built his empire from the ground up by getting his hands dirty, just all of a sudden one day just relinquished all that control over to this guy and let him control it, and then knew nothing of it, even though they called him out on a couple of occasions where for instance, Jeffrey Epstein was caught pretending to be a Victoria's Secret recruiter, and meanwhile he was sexually assaulting victims in Vegas hotel rooms, pretending that he was scouting for Victoria's Secret, one of the companies that Wexner owned. There was another case where Les Wexner was made aware of criminal activity, and he poo-pooed it. He says, I talked to him, and I asked him what's going on, and he told me this, that, and the other thing, and I believed him. And he said this with a straight face, like we are all goyim just dumb fucks that, well, the old guy, that's what he said, so that must be true. Literally turned over his entire fortune, gave Jeffrey Epstein that one of the largest private residences in Manhattan, gave him that Manhattan penthouse that was the scene of so many and so much criminal activity with these underage girls. Basically gave it to him, but wasn't really friends with him. Then they pulled out Christmas cards from Wexner. Well, I don't know why I wrote that, and I think my assistant brought that in, or Ghislaine asked me to write that. Anyway, it was just like one fucking bullshit thing after another. Same with the Mike Huckabee interview. It was just one fucking bullshit thing after another, and they're expecting us to believe this. And, I mean, so far, I don't think anybody's believing it, but we're not really doing anything about it. We're sitting back and seeing, well, I wonder what's going to happen. I'm telling you, unless we do something about it, there's nothing going to happen. These people are above the law. There's a two-tier justice system that we all fall under, and you and I, folks, are not part of the in club. If we did half of it, a quarter of it, of anything even remotely close to what these deviants and demons are doing, we would be in jail, we would be under the jail, and we would never be heard from again. And these people, they're flying around the world. They are living in their luxury homes, driving their luxury cars, literally like nothing has happened. Even Wexner in his deposition, my wife and I commented to how many times he was laughing and laughing things off. You would think that someone in that much trouble, there's really nothing to laugh about, in my opinion. And this guy was yucking it up through the whole thing. And it was really disconcerting. I'm starting to, I don't want to say go down these rabbit holes, but my mind is going to places where I'm kind of trying to, make sense of this and make sense of that and try to fit everything together. And I'm starting to think that I believe that our governments, and I'm talking about the governments not only in the United States, that's primarily what my show is about today, is the stuff that's going on down there. But I'm talking about in my country here in Canada, too. I'm starting to think that our governments are not taking care of our vets like we all think that they should for, putting their life on the line to defend our country. I don't think that our governments are taking care of our vets and keeping them in a constant state of survival, surviving instead of thriving. I'm starting to believe that this is all, again, not an accident. It's not that we don't have the money. We're sending billions of dollars. We're sending billions of dollars to Israel. So, to fight their wars. We're sending boots on the ground to Israel to fight their wars. We're sending billions of dollars to Ukraine. So we have the money, but we're not devoting it to where it needs to go. And again, I think that it's all part and parcel by design, because I think that they want to keep our vets struggling to survive, because when they're doing that, when they're struggling to survive instead of thriving in the world that they fought for, I think that they're going to be a lot less likely to be able to form a resistance against tyrannical governments. Think about that for a second, right? You got all these brave, battle-seasoned warriors that have come back, that, some of them have the PTSD and a host of other issues, I couldn't imagine trying to, go to war to see what you see and do what you do. And then, well, now you're back on home soil and it's back to mowing the lawn and taking the kids to school. There's got to be a pretty, a pretty big gap between, those who enjoy freedom every day and then those who stand up and fight for freedom for a living. And I'm starting to think that our governments are not taking care of these people, because these people would be an imminent threat if they were actually thriving and healthy and seeing what the government is doing. So keep them drugged up, keep them out on the streets and homeless. Don't take care of them. Let them suffer, because all of that, they're going to struggle to survive instead of picking up arms and revolting against a government that is selling us down the river. The fact that there's no global revolution at this point is beyond the pale. I mean, what more do we need to know as tax-paying citizens? We pay for these people to live these luxury lives, and they are doing, go down the Jeffrey Epstein files, man. The rabbit hole. It is scary, and again, nothing has ever been done of it. Not a single person is sitting in jail. By all accounts, Epstein himself is alive, and indications is that he's hiding out at the U.S. Embassy in Tel Aviv. And with the most recent thing with Ghislaine Maxwell roaming the streets of Quebec, these people, the people that we would like to believe, oh, well, Epstein was arrested and he hung himself in jail. No, he's loose. He's loose and enjoying life. Ghislaine Maxwell. Oh, yeah, she's sitting in jail, and then she was moved to a cushy minimum security prison. That's not her either. That's some rube that they paid, or whatever the case is. And it sounds crazy, and you might think I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy. Check it out, folks. Check out the video. I can't post it on my socials because, as I said last week's episode, that I've been kicked off of the social medias, so I can't even post it. But it is all over. It is all over social media. It is all over YouTube, and I urge you to watch it and write me back and tell me that you don't think that is Ghislaine Maxwell. So these monsters that not only were accused of these crimes, but were convicted of horrendous crimes to children, nothing is happening to them. They're free and clear, and probably just changed their names, got new passports, and it's not hard to think that the White House, I would imagine our Prime Minister Mark Carney, he would know. He was a friend of Ghislaine Maxwell's. He's in dozens of photos, social photos with her, and photos not like, oh yeah, here's a picture of me and when I met Miss Maxwell at a social function. These are, friendly photos. These are photos that you and I would have in our collection of good buddies of ours. These aren't just like a happenstance photo that they bumped into one another and someone snapped their picture. And there's dozens of these photos. So I would be hard-pressed to believe that our prime minister wouldn't know that this person is hiding out, for lack of a better word, in our country. I really don't. The person that she was with, facial recognition said it was her brother. So think of the astronomical odds that a doppelganger of Ghislaine Maxwell, is seen walking the streets of Quebec in Canada along with a doppelganger of her brother. I mean, it's just impossible to even wrap your head around. And again, it makes you wonder. They're not even hiding. They're in plain sight, which leads me back to this psychological thing about they're testing the waters, because the longer we go without standing up and pushing back and doing something, the more it's giving them permission. Like, if we go to the voting stations and we continue to vote for these people, you're basically saying, yeah, whatever it is you're doing, we're pretty much okay with it. And onward and upward. The world is going crazy. And the magnitude of this darkness is not just pigeonholed into the United States or parts of Canada. It is literally all over the world. The opening ceremonies of the Olympic Games. If you watch the opening ceremonies, again, I'm no theologian, but just watching those ceremonies, they just had this dark, demonic, I don't even know how to articulate it. It was just dark and demonic. It wasn't like, I mean, I remember the 88 Olympics when we had them here in Calgary. We had fucking Heidi and Howdy, the fucking, I think they were bears or something like that. They were our opening ceremony mascots. And we had, the flaming arrow lighting the cauldron and stuff like that. There wasn't like this AI stuff and the pseudo pentagrams, and it was just weird. And if you go back to the Summer Olympics that were in France, that was also weird with the trannies on there and stuff like that. It's just weird. If you haven't heard, Mexico is pretty much at war with the drug cartel. That news was just released. My sister-in-law, she recently came back from Puerto Vallarta, I think just last week, and then today I'm learning that Mexican forces killed one of the big wigs of one of the drug cartels, and the drug cartels are retaliating. They were all the airports are closed down. All the major carriers have canceled flights to and from Mexico, and the Mexican president is asking Trump to send in some military help in order to get the situation under control. The cartels have come out and said that by 5 o'clock, if they haven't returned the body of their dead leader and the people responsible for his assassination surrender, that they were going to start going into hotels and targeting people. If you've been watching the videos, it's crazy. They've been going into airports, shooting the place up, lighting cars and tourist buses on fire. It's crazy. It seems like one distraction after the other to sway us away from what's really going on, which is the exposing of probably one of the most prolific child trafficking rings in world history. And it's all done through our leadership of every country. Rumor has it that King Charles is going to have to step down at some point, because it's going to come out that he was complicit, at the very least, in what Prince Andrew was doing. I mean, I would imagine that Buckingham Palace, you can't just walk in and out of the place, right? There's got to be you got to be, I would imagine, on a list, or there's some sort of a vetting process. Excuse me. There's got to be some sort of a vetting process and stuff. And so you can't really sell to the public anymore that, we knew nothing of it. Playing dumb is just not an option at this point anymore. And no matter how you slice it, whether it's Jeffrey Epstein, whether it's Ghislaine Maxwell, whether it's the stuff going on in the United States with Ted Cruz or Donald Trump kissing the wall and positioning America for yet another war with Iran. It all boils down and it all connects back to the state of Israel. And, saying that, people are going to call me a Jew hater. I don't hate the Jewish people. The state of Israel is another thing. I think that they're a demonic entity on this earth, and I believe that they are willing to annihilate humankind in general in order to propagate their agenda. I look at what the Jewish people bring to the table. I don't hate them, like I said, but I look at what Jewish people bring to the table, and I hate trafficking of children. I hate childhood sex changes and abortions. I hate the slaughtering of innocent women and children, their only crime being born in a parcel of land that they're deluded into believing that it's theirs because of some biblical prophecy, when everybody knows that the Jews of the Bible are not the state of Israel. And again, I'm no theologian, but I'm telling you, I know enough to know, and I've read enough to know that these people that are on our TV screens every day talking about how this land was promised to them by God, these are not the same people. As a matter of fact, if I'm reading my Bible correctly, I think that all of the believers and followers of Christ are God's chosen people in the book. The descendants of Abraham. None of these people, Netanyahu, he's no descendant of Abraham. That's why genealogy in Israel is forbidden. Because if the world knew that the Gazans or the Palestinians probably have more blood ties to the descendants of Abraham than Netanyahu and his cabal of demons, we would be having a completely different conversation. The Mike Huckabee interview, when Tucker asked him about one of America's most prolific spies, Jonathan Pollard, he actually said, quote, "Oh, yeah, no, I just met the guy because he called me up and he wanted to thank me for being so nice to him." So one of the most prolific spies against the American people, this guy was an American Jew, lived in America, had a good life, sold battle plans and top secret things to the Israelis for big money. And the Israelis, in turn, remember, they're America's biggest ally. So the Israelis, in turn, they actually gave those secrets to the Russians, because that's what allies do, right? They they go behind your back to your enemies and leak all your battle plans and secrets and stuff like that. So the Tucker Carlson interview, Mike Huckabee is basically, it was nothing. I met him once. And I met his wife, and they were very nice people. And then when his wife died, I sent him a message saying, sending my condolences. I heard your wife passed away. And then a short time after, he phoned and asked to have a meeting and just to thank me for being a nice guy. And we're supposed to believe that was absolutely nothing. There was nothing to it. And we shouldn't even be asking questions as to why the most prolific spy in American history against the American people is having meetings with the American ambassador to Israel, why he's having meetings with him after the state of Israel welcomed this American traitor back, not only with open arms, but he's like a rock star there. He's a hero in Israel. But us asking questions, we're just anti-Semitic, and we're crazy for thinking of stuff like that. I hate stuff like that. I hate the subversion of our education system. Teaching our kids, and again, I'm going to go out on the limb here, and I'm going to say, if you want to know why Charlie Kirk was assassinated, you need not go any further than the state of Israel, because given everything that we know from the Epstein files, who wasn't on the Epstein files? Nazis. You know who was all over the Epstein files? Jews. Lots of them. Lots and lots of them. Chock full of Jews, completely empty of Nazi and anti-Semites. So put that in your cap. Put that feather in your cap. So, I hate the subversion of our education systems where, our children are being taught certain narratives of history which are, if not completely untrue, certainly questionable at this point, given what we know now. I hate the subversion of our governments. And again, primarily in the United States, the amount of Jewish lobby money that is flowing to your senators and state representatives is astronomical. And please don't try to sell me on the fact that it's only to support them, that there is no quid pro quo, for lack of a better term, that the Jewish lobby is just giving out millions and millions of dollars to these senators, and they don't really expect anything back, right? And again, the Charlie Kirk thing. There was no way on God's green earth, with what we know about Charlie having questions about supporting Israel and what they were doing, there was no way in my mind that they were going to let Charlie Kirk and his minions of millions of young, new generational, up-and-coming voters and current voters, there was no way that they were going to allow this huge following of new pro-Israeli blood sway from the pro-Israeli lobby. There was no way that he was going to do it. And the fact that the first thing that his grieving widow, between fireworks and the tissue tear tour, was doing was going completely the opposite way of what Charlie was taking, Turning Point USA, and she is completely pro-Israel. America Fest, she had Ben Shapiro right after her speak. Ben Shapiro, if you know anything about Charlie Kirk hated Ben Shapiro, did not like him at all. And now this Shabbat Shalom bullshit that she's selling, and she's, like, I believe in Belfast, Ireland, trying to recruit young Christians there. All part of this pro-Israel thing that Charlie certainly wasn't going in that direction. So it all goes back, it all keeps tracing back to this one location, this one geographic location on the planet, and its octopus arm of money pits, that have infiltrated the government and have infiltrated the media and have infiltrated Hollywood. This subversion of American courts and Congress, the White House, the implosion of Western borders. Where you won't find a lot of Muslim people is in Israel. Where you won't find a lot of any other people other than Jewish people is Israel. But who's behind a lot of this mass immigration and stuff like that is the state of Israel. Read the Talmud if you don't believe me. That'll tell you exactly what they think of us goyim. We're nothing but cattle. Netanyahu himself said that America is a golden calf that they will suck dry and chop up until it's one of the biggest welfare states on the planet. And if you're looking around, they're not far from that. They are not far from that. Tucker Carlson rightfully mentioned about how much money that American taxpayers are sending to Israel. Meanwhile, Israel has like free healthcare, free university education. They live like a really high standard of living. And meanwhile, American citizens, their tax dollars, instead of going to help American citizens out, is going to the state of Israel for weaponry and bombs and technology and stuff like that. And Mike Huckabee's answer is, yeah, but the return that we get on it is tenfold. Like he was just like one bullshit answer after another. How like we can go down this Jewish rabbit hole or this Israeli rabbit hole even further. The assassination of JFK. Anybody with half a brain knows that it wasn't Lee Harvey Oswald that did it. And the circumstances surrounding his assassination was the fact that, number one, he wanted the Zionist lobby. I can't remember what it was called before. It was called AIPAC. But he wanted the Zionist lobby. I got it written down. The Zionist Council, as I believe what it was called, before it became AIPAC. But he wanted them, and he was well on his way of forcing them to register as a foreign entity, just like every other foreign country that lobbies on behalf of their country within the borders of the United States. They are classified as a foreign agent, and that means that there's certain guidelines and provisions that they have to follow in order for the U.S. government to keep tabs on what they're doing and who they're giving money to and what they're giving money for. This is for every country on the face of the earth, with the exception of the state of Israel. Every country on the face of the earth that has nuclear weapons is under the Nuclear Proliferation Treaty, which means that third-party inspectors can just basically land on their shores and have a look at their nuclear program and assess what they're doing to make sure that they're not up to any shenanigans that are going to be, used for cataclysmic world events. Even Russia was part of this program until they pulled out a few years back, for one of the reasons being because the Jewish people, the state of Israel, has nuclear weapons, has threatened to use nuclear weapons, but nobody knows how many nuclear weapons because they're not part of this nuclear proliferation. The attack on the USS Liberty. Again, it was a mistake and an error of communication. And if you believe that, I got, I got a bridge to sell you in New York. It's all bullshit. They're cunning people. Their Talmud instructs them to lie. They love the fact that they can have us fighting between black folks and white folks and Mexicans and Muslims, and all the while they are playing the world victim. They're part of, they're responsible for bombing the World Trade Center the first time. It's not surprising that there's video of IDF Israelis dancing and celebrating, watching the Twin Towers come down on 9/11. But no, we can't believe, we can't, if we believe that, we're just anti-Semites, right? The fact that they're doing it, shouldn't raise an eyebrow. You're just an anti-Semite. Ask yourself why none of the files, none of the emails from the Epstein files before or after 9/11 have been released. Ask yourself that, why that would be, why they're releasing things like cannibalism and torturing and eating babies, but the email exchange that Epstein has had with his Jewish friends, supporters, or whatever before and after 9/11, well, those are still classified. The JFK files are still classified. The killing of 3,000 people on 9/11, right? Again, ties to the state of Israel. Central banking, the Federal Reserve, the transatlantic slave trade, the forever wars. Everywhere these vermin go, they bring misery, mayhem, and death. But when we question it, is there any other group of people on the planet where even criticizing them instantly makes you cancel-worthy and an anti-Semite? It's not. There's none. And I challenge anyone to find me one. So, do I have a hate for these people? Well, I certainly have a hate for what they're doing. And I know that not every Jew is going to be complicit in this, but there's certainly not enough of them that are speaking out and doing something against the ones that do. So I believe it is our job to call out the wicked, bring them into the sunlight. That's the best disinfectant. And more importantly, stand up and be loud. Anyway, folks, that's all I got for you this week, man. I'm just, honestly, I'm speechless. I'm speechless as what is unfolding so rapidly in our world on a daily basis, and it seems to be that nothing is done. Nothing is done about it. Nobody's going to jail. Nobody's getting hauled in and questioned. Like I said, the only people that have been hauled in and questioned so far in reference to the Epstein thing is I believe Les Wexner and Prince Andrew. But Prince Andrew, he's just the sacrificial lamb for the royal party. King Charles, he knew about it. Queen Elizabeth, God rest her reptilian soul. Nobody can tell me that these people didn't know what the hell was going on. So they either knew what was going on and didn't think nothing of it, which in itself is fucking frightening, or they knew what was going on and were completely okay with it. Part of the gang, if you will. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, we're living in scary times. Trump's board of peace. He's got he's meeting before Christmas. I was reading somewhere in reference to this board of peace thing, and I've been reading the Bible, and if you go into Revelations, is it not the 10 horns? I can't remember now. I had it in my head when I started the show. I should have wrote it down, but it was kind of like this thing that I thought of as I was coming down into the studio. But the 10 horns of it was the 10 horns and something about that they're not kings as of yet. Anyway, if you read that portion of Revelations, it's almost like opening a newspaper in today's world as to what is going on. And so the good news is for us believers and those of faith, we win in the end. So that's a good thing. But nonetheless, it's a frightening concept that these demons walk amongst us freely. So keep your head on a swivel, read your Bible, get on your knees and pray, because I believe with all my heart that we are living in what they call the last days. I think that it's unfolding before our eyes. So get on the right side of this, folks. This tranny issue, this elite global trafficking. Get on the right side of this issue, folks. It's time we saddle up and pray that God readies our hands and our hearts for battle, because it's coming. I know I'm ready for it, man. Looking forward to it, if you will. Anyway, folks, have yourselves a wonderful week, and keep your head on a swivel. Stay safe out there, and God bless you all. We'll see you next Sunday. See ya!
Yo, the curtain drops, watch the show unfold. Puppets on a string, ain't no truth to be told. From Carney up north to Trump in the White House, they all played a role while the shadows pull the strings, taking control. Secret societies, they laughing in the dark while we fighting against each other, they just feed the spark. Putin flexing hard, Zelensky keeping it real. Netanyahu's always lying, begging America, crying, what the fuck's the deal? Falling in the chaos, but they pulling the strings. Ain't no real leaders, just thugs and their bling. Keep us divided, that's the ultimate plot. No matter who's in charge, we all just puppets getting shot. Getting shot, getting shot, getting shot, getting shot, getting shot. Katy Perry kissed a girl while Trudeau's in the mix. Got her by speaking moistly while Canada's elbows down. Asses up, taking America's dick. Ooh, shit. Carney's always scheming, making moves in the dark while the world's distracted by his bullshit remarks. He whispering sweet nothings, keeping the plot thick. Canada's his bitch bent over, this damn country's going to shit. Country's going to shit, shit, shit. We ballin'! We ballin' in the chaos, but they pulling the strings. Ain't no real leaders, just thugs and they bling. Keep us divided, that's the ultimate plot. No matter who's in charge, we all just puppets getting shot, getting shot, getting shot, getting shot. Who's in charge? We all just puppets getting shot, getting shot, getting shot, getting shot. Who's in charge? We all just puppets. From the left and the right, it's a puppet parade. While the rich keep us fighting, they just cash in the fade. All the world's a stage and we play our part, but the real masterminds just laughing at the yard. So wake the fuck up, stop playing the fool. They divide and conquer while we drown in the pool. We ain't gotta listen, rise up from the floor. Break the strings, burn the stage, we ain't taking no more. So when the curtain drops, we'll stand side by side. No more pulling the strings, we're done with this ride. In this Game of Thrones, we'll rewrite the script, cause together united we won't let it slip. We ballin' in the chaos, but they pulling the strings. Ain't no real leaders, just thugs in the bling. Keep us divided, that's the ultimate plot. No matter who's in charge, we all just puppets getting shot. No, who's in charge, we all just puppets getting shot. No, who's in charge, we all just puppets getting shot. Get shot. in charge, we all just puppets getting shot.